Welcome to Point Healthcare's YouTube channel. My name is Simon Berry, founder and MD of Point Healthcare, a recruitment specialist within the nursing industry. And today I want to focus on how companies have had to adapt and how they managed to successfully navigate certain challenges within the recruitment process post-Covid-19, how they've managed to overcome some of the challenges that have been faced. And ultimately what I want to do is put forward 5 top tips that I think will really make a difference in helping your company stand out and successfully recruit and retain your top talent. What Covid-19 has done is taken away a lot of the opportunity to portray your company as an attractive organisation, team, group of people, all the subtle things that you might wanted to have done to make them feel welcome and at home within your business. So what we have looked at is how can we get back some of those things that we've lost? How can we, without, if you can't do a face-to-face interview, for example, or if you can't bring someone into a nursing home for obvious reasons, to do them a guided tour and show them around, introduce them to some of their would-be teammates and some of the residents, how can we get around that? So we've got 5 tips and ideas that we think can reposition you ahead of your competition. Tip number 1 is use video interviewing. If you can't do a face-to-face interview, and obviously in many circumstances at the moment that's just not an option, telephone interviewing just doesn't give you the same level of relationship building opportunity, and it doesn't give you the opportunity to make sure that there are no misunderstandings further down the line. Often what we're seeing at the moment is where people are relying purely on telephone interviewing, there's a disappointment or a surprise further down the line which ultimately ends in a failed recruitment process or a lost opportunity. That might be they turn up and it's a totally different environment than they expected, or you end up with someone who is a very different person that you thought that you'd hired. Video interviewing solves that problem. Additionally, what I'd do is encourage you to ask someone to host that video interview for you. So for our clients, what we're doing is we'll be there first on screen waiting for the arrivals. We can then welcome people onto that video call, make the introduction, and then step back and let you carry on with your interview behind closed virtual doors as you normally would. And that way we just make sure that if there are any delays, just as there would be in the real world, if someone's sat in a reception room and the hiring manager's tied up, they'll get a message saying, look, they're on their way, they're really, really sorry, they've just got to deal with something quite quickly. If they're sat in front of a screen on their own wondering what's going to happen, they get that cold feeling, and more often not, they'll just log off the call assuming that it's been forgotten about, which is the last message that you want to be portraying across. Tip number 2 is do a video tour. If you can't actually show them around the service, which obviously is difficult at the moment, then it's very, very important that you give them a visualization in some form, albeit digital, of where they might be working. Psychologically, it's very, very difficult to leave something that you know for a black hole. If they can't see or at least imagine where they might be, then it's very difficult for them to take that step. It doesn't need to be a big expensive production. A mobile phone will do. Just walk it around the service, get a couple of the staff or the residents or the service users to give a wave, point out a couple of things that you would do if you were showing someone around for real, and that will be as close as you can get to the real thing and make all the difference. Tip number 3 is communicate regularly. From the moment that you offer them the job and they accept that role, there'll be a gap until they start, and during that gap they'll be getting approached by other hiring managers, other companies, other recruitment companies, trying to tempt them away from you and towards them. What we need to do is make sure that you're making them feel as much of a part of that team already as is possible, so that they're far more resistant to anyone else's offerings. And by that I mean try and make them feel part of the team already. So if there's any news that your team would be excited to hear about them, then make sure that they're party to that news information as well. Get in contact with them regularly just to let them know how their onboarding is going on as well, making sure that it's ticking along, that it's progressing as you'd expect, and reassuring them that their start dates are coming up. And just make sure that you give them no reason to think, hang on, have I been forgotten about here, or should I be looking at something else? Make sure that they're continuing to be excited and that you're excited about them starting as well. Tip number 4 is send a welcome message. It doesn't have to come from you, it certainly doesn't have to be an official HR thing. Perhaps someone in your team could just pick up the phone or send a quick email saying, look, we've heard you've accepted a role, thrilled that you're joining the team, we can't wait till your start date. Something simple like that, really nice touch. Tip number 5, our final tip, is ace the first day. We want to make sure that when your new employee walks out the door after their first day, they are super excited about walking back through the door the following day. We want to make sure that they now know that all of the reasons that they wanted to join you in the first place are 100% true and that they've made the right decision. Simple things you can do to make sure you achieve that are give them a first day plan, or even better, give them a first week plan, so that they know that you're organised, that you've thought about how you want to induct them in the company, and they're coming into a well-managed, well-organised place. Simple to do, doesn't take too long, and does make a real difference. Secondly, perhaps make sure that they're given a warm welcome. Sounds obvious, but again, on a busy day, sometimes it can easily get forgotten. Introduce them to as many people as you can. Make sure they're not left alone for any large amounts of time. It's a nervous or nerve-wracking thing for anyone joining a new company for the first day. So do everything you can to look after them. Go out of your way to make sure that it's a really good experience for them on their first day, and that really will pay off. You'll get a much more loyal, excited employee for the long term as a result. So that's it, that's our top 5 tips on how to adapt your recruitment process for maximum effect and maximum results, either during or post Covid-19. Some of them are new, things like video interviewing, video tours we've not had to do before as an industry, and some of them are things that you would have expected to do in the past, but perhaps are even more important now in light of all the challenges and the uncertainty that people are facing. So we wish you really good luck introducing some or all of these if you haven't introduced them already. Hope they make a difference for you, and if we can do anything else for you to help advise or consult on your recruitment processes, perhaps more bespoke to you and your environment, then please do get in touch. We'd love to help. Thanks very much.